Hey guys, it's Hansol here, and in today's video I'll be teaching you guys how to beat Windwalker monks. So if you don't know already, yesterday I posted a video of me fighting the highest rated Windwalker monk in the world currently, and we just sat outside Kunlai Summit for a couple hours and dueled it out, and it was really fun. I don't know, there's just something about sitting outside in the open world environment and just dueling for a while. It's just really relaxing for me, and I just really enjoy it. It's one of the little things in WoW that I take for granted, but then I realized that, you know, this is fun. So yeah, it was a really tough matchup for me, guys. Good Windwalker monks are pretty hard for mages to beat, or for fire mages at least. Most Windwalker monks that I duel outside Durotar or like Elwyn Forest, it's pretty easy mode. Most of the time I don't really lose to any other Windwalker monks, but this guy, he was doing some crazy next level shit that I didn't see any other monks doing. And yeah, I just wanted to share my tactics and the ways I felt were the best ways to fight this guy. So I had to kind of like switch up my talents and build a little bit here and there to figure out the most efficient way to counter him. But yeah, without further ado, let's get started. So as you guys may know already, as a fire mage, if you want to score kills, you have to use your deep freeze. And if the enemy does have trinket, that means you're not going to score the kill then. So what you want to do is force a trinket and then get a full deep freeze on them without any outs. But as for Windwalker monks, they have both Trinket and Nimble Brew, so it's going to take a little bit longer for you to actually score the kill. A good Windwalker monk will actually save his Trinket and Nimble Brew for your deep freezes, so keep that in mind. The biggest challenge when versing a Windwalker monk is trying to survive while going through all these defensive abilities. The next really big defensive cooldown is Diffuse Magic, and what it does is it reduces all spell damage taken by 90% for 6 seconds. So you're pretty much not going to do anything to the monk while this cooldown's up, so your best bet is just try to CC them and kite them. The next really big monk defensive cooldown is called Touch of Karma. What it does is, if they use Touch of Karma on you, any damage you do to the monk will be redirected to you over 6 seconds. So when you see Touch of Karma, you want to try your best not to attack the target and try to CC them. Alternatively, you can use Ice Block to take the Touch of Karma debuff off of you. Balance was actually smart enough to save Touch of Karma until after I blocked, so this did not apply to me. They also have an ability called Zen Med, which reduces damage taken by 90% in 1v1 for 8 seconds. Keep in mind this ability is channeled, so you can actually lock him out while he's channeling it, which will lock him out of the Nature's Tree, unallowing him to pop his other defensive cooldowns, excluding Karma. Monks can also return to their original position where they left their spirit, kind of like lock portals. They can just port back to where they left their port. Last but not least is Fortifying Brew. What this does is it reduces the damage taken by 20%. So as you can see, the monk does have a bunch of defensive cooldowns, so like I said before, your challenge is to survive while going through these cooldowns. As for the monk's offensive abilities, they have a lot of mobility and gap closers, which will make it really hard for you to kite them, so you really want to take advantage of Blink, Dragon's Breath, and Blazing Speed to keep that distance. As for the actual damage and burst coming from the monk, they have something called Tiger's Eye Brew, and it's like a buff that stacks on them, and it can stack up to 20 times, and they get 1 stack every time they use 4 cheese, which is kind of like rogue combo points. And what they can actually consume these stacks to do more damage and healing, so definitely keep an eye on these stacks because that means big damage is coming. So I was surprised by so many of you guys asking me in the duel video if my blink macro was broken, because every time I would get stunned you would see me mash my blink macro. Like, you could see me spam it but it wouldn't work for a couple seconds, and then I would blink the stun kind of late. And I was surprised that a lot of you guys didn't know this, but what the monk would do is he would stun me and also silence me at the same time, so he would get like 2 seconds of uptime on me, which means I couldn't blink for 2 seconds and I had to sit this stun for a little bit. It's kind of the same thing with me deeping mages, and I silence into the deep so they can't temporal or blink. So yeah, he was very smart about that. So that's the answer to why I couldn't blink right away for those of you that were wondering, to all of you that were wondering. So a way to counter this is if they do have stacks or if they do have the buff on them, you should just block it. So it's just really situational. And also, a couple of you were asking why I didn't use mirror images versus him, and I've already answered this so many times, but no matter what video it is, there's always a person asking me why aren't I using mirror images. And the thing with fire mages is our main source of CC is Dragon's Breath, and we use Dragon's Breath to poly off of it and set up with Frostjaw, so it's like pretty much gives us time to cast, because you really can't cast in this expansion. It's really hard to actually cast your abilities. So Dragon's Breath is an extremely good peel, and what popping mirror images does, if your mirror images are up and they're casting frost bolts at your target, if you Dragon's Breath them, the Dragon's Breath will break, which means you cannot poly out of it, and you cannot Frostjaw, which means you're just gonna die, or they're gonna force block off you. So pretty much popping mirror images makes you a frost mage with no extra novas and no consistent damage. So like if you're gonna pop mirror images versus a melee, you might as well be frost, because you're just fucking yourself over by popping them. They actually work against you. It's honestly just common sense, but I guess some of you guys don't play fire mages and don't really understand that concept yet. But hopefully you understand now, so you don't have to keep asking. Okay, so now that you understand how Windwalker monks work, now I'm going to commentate a duel and go over my thought process and certain situations of the fight. So right off the bat, I'm going to go Invis, and out of Invis I'm going to try to cast a polymorph on him, but he instantly incaps me, which stops me from getting the poly off. He then stun silences me, and since I'm silenced I can't blink it, so I'm actually just going to trinket the stun silence. Normally you wouldn't have to trinket a stun because you can blink it, but he can actually get me from 100 to 70% within that 2-second stun, so I really have to trinket that. So I'm going to instantly breath him out of the trinket into a free cast poly. And as you can see, I don't have my mirrors popped, so my Dragon's Breath isn't going to break. So I can actually cast a poly and set up off of it and do some damage. I'm going to cast a Frostjaw instantly out of poly, and normally you can just cast a Scorch into it, but since he's polyed and Frostjawed, you want to take advantage of every second and cast the very long cast. Right as I Pyro Blast, I'm going to Living Bomb him to dot him up, and Infernal Blast to get my Pod Streak proc again, and then chuck the Pyro, Combust Infernal Blast at the same time for another proc. And right here, since he's connecting to me, I'm going to Temporal Shield. I did temp a little late, but... So right here, I'm going to Alter Time with the Temp Shield, heal, and with Palm and Hot Streak. So I'm able to use Alter Time defensively and offensively at the same time here, which is pretty much killing 2 birds with 1 stone. I'm going to double Pyro him here. He actually Zen meds, and I can normally CS it, but by this time he's actually been juking me a lot, so this time I decided not to CS him. I'm going to alter back, Dragon's Breath him. I get Fisted at the same time. I'm going to blink that, apply my Incanta's Ward to get the Absorb and also buff going. I'm going to Palm Frostjaw since I have 2 palms from altering it, chuck my Hot Streak into it for a guaranteed crit since he's frozen. Then I'm going to Infernal Blast to get another Hot Streak. I'm going to Clone of Cold him, blink it, Nova him, and chuck another Pyro, which guaranteed crits again since he was frozen right there. Reapply Living Bomb and block. Right here, as you can see, I have no Dragon's Breath or Temporal Shield or anything up, so I'm just going to block because he can actually kill me. Monks can do really crazy bursts, especially if he has stacks up, and as you can see, he does have stacks right here. So right here, I see him rolling away, so I quickly come out of Ice Block, which Ice Block Glyph Novas him, so I can Deep Freeze off of it. Ice Block Glyph is amazing, I really love it. So right here, since he's deep, I'm going to chuck my Pyro, and he can actually die here, but he trinkets immediately, and then Karmas, and Karma actually saves him right there. So I'm going to Temporal Shield and run away. While Karma's up, you just want to kite and live as long as you can, because I don't have block here, I already blocked. So the only thing I can do is really kite. So I'm going to Dragon's Breath him, Infernal Blast him for proc. And right here you see me pop my mirror images. Like I said, I hate popping my mirror images as a last resort. I do like to pop them if I have nothing better to do. So as you can see right here, I don't have Dragon's Breath, I don't have Temporal Shield, I don't have Ice Block, I have no defensive, so that's the only time I'm going to use mirror images, when there's nothing else to do. I'm going to apply my Incanta's Ward, he incaps me, then stuns me and my mirror images. So I blink that, chuck my Pyro, he fists me then short, so I have to combust on him here. I have no time to wait for deep because I'm just going to die. So I'm going to Nova CS him off of it, chuck my Pyro, Ice Lance him, and finish him off. So as you can see right there, that was a really close duel. For this one I did use Palm, but I started using Blazing Speed a little after. I find that Blazing Speed is really good for kiting, and Palm is better for control. So whatever works for you, you can use. If this commentary guide did help you out, make sure to leave a thumbs down below, or thumbs up down below, to let me know you'd like to see more class guides. And also let me know what guide you'd like to see next for which class. And don't say Hunter because I cannot beat Hunters. Good ones at least. And don't forget to check out the video versus rank 1 monk on the actual duel video, and you can click the video on the left to check that out. Or if you're on mobile, just go to the description down below and I'll leave a link right there as well. So yeah, thanks for watching guys, and I'll catch you later. Keep burning shit.